Hi there, and thank you for joining our session. Microsoft 365 is being adopted faster than ever before, and as you undoubtedly noticed, remote work is fundamentally transforming our world. I'm Dave Minassian, Principal Program Manager on the SharePoint Admin Center team here at Microsoft, and I have my amazing teammates RK Menon and Trent Green here with me.
Hi everyone, my name is RK and I'm a PM on the SharePoint Admin Center team.
Hi, I'm Trent, and I'm a PM on the SharePoint Admin Center team.
In this session, we'll show you all the recent investments that we've made in modernizing the new SharePoint Admin Center to help ensure that you're more equipped to deal with these changes. One of the key trends that we've noticed is that enterprises are moving from their on-prem deployments to the cloud, and Teams is playing a key role in this migration because it enables employees to self-serve by easily creating collaboration spaces. As your employees onboard Teams and use Microsoft 365 more than ever before, administration responsibilities will grow as the number of sites that they created increases. So today, we will show you all the new capabilities that we've added recently and will be added in the near future to the SharePoint Admin Center. Everything we build is inspired from the feedback we receive from the community and is designed to make your day-to-day job easier. I hope that by the end of this session, you can take full advantage of everything we've shown you here today. There are three areas of investment that we'll cover today. We'll give an overview of our coherence journey that includes management of roles in Microsoft 365 Admin Center and the recently added Global Reader role. We'll also go over the new tools to help you be more efficient when managing sites, and we'll introduce the all-new coherent homepage insights platform to help with monitoring, reporting, and much, much more. Let's dive in. One of the things we're hearing a lot from customers as you move your environment from on-prem to the cloud is that a lot of your traditional responsibilities are changing because Microsoft 365 is now a collection of products. It's not the individual siloed Exchange or SharePoint anymore. And as a SharePoint administrator, now you're taking care of sites that are actually belonging to groups that were created in Outlook, or team sites that are connected to Teams and are now showing up in your SharePoint. And hence, a lot of the roles are changing. In order to manage all this, you have to go to several admin centers that look different, work different, and often have lots of settings and features that you don't really need to accomplish your task. This makes wayfinding harder than it should be. As part of our coherence effort, we're working hard to unify these experiences by bringing a consistent design, naming conventions, look and feel to all the admin centers to enable a coherent administration experience across the Microsoft 365 admin suite. If you go to the roles in Microsoft 365 Admin Center, for example, you would see that over the last year, we've created a lot more granular responsibilities and roles. This would allow the tenant admin or the global administrator to limit individuals' privileges in the IT department based on what their job requires and blocking everything else. So you don't have to give anyone in IT the keys to the kingdom anymore. And that limits the risk of security vulnerabilities in your organization. In fact, we strongly recommend no more than 5 global administrators, even for large organizations. So I want to show you one of the key roles we've introduced lately, which is what we call the Global Reader role. A person assigned this role can see all the admin features and settings across the suite without the ability to change anything. It is especially powerful as it can be combined with other roles for more customized delegation of responsibilities. In this scenario, Megan is a global admin at Contoso Electronics. As a global admin, she has unlimited access and control of all the management features across the Microsoft 365 suite. Over the last year, the company has grown and the number of teams increased. As the number of collaborative projects increased, so did the company's intranet. With this expansion, several challenges around user support, managing increasing collaboration across SharePoint sites and activity in Teams, possibility of oversharing or information leaks became real concerns, requiring more and more attention from Megan. So the company decides to grow their IT department to help Megan with some of those responsibilities. That is when Nestor was brought on board to assist with primarily managing user questions around Teams, and Adele was brought on to help manage companies' growing intranet. As part of their training process, Megan needs to provide Adele and Nestor with the right access level to allow them to do their job and train while ensuring they don't have access to everything else that could impact the entire company. This would not have been possible to do before role-based access became available. In fact, Megan would have had to assign Nestor and Adele full global admin privileges, risking the possibility of them getting full access to everyone's OneDrives, privileged sites, and other privileged content, opening the door for possible security breaches. Just imagine if every help desk associate or admin in your organization had access and could change your CEO's OneDrive or see highly confidential strategic materials. Well, as I mentioned a minute ago, we now have a role-based access, which makes it super easy for global admins like Megan to avoid these types of issues. So looking at the available roles, since Nestor will most likely be dealing with Teams-related user support, he would be a good candidate for Teams Service Admin role and Global Reader roles, since Teams files and some channel files now have dedicated sites in SharePoint that Nestor might need to access while helping users. Adele will be assigned to SharePoint Admin and Global Reader roles so that she can have full management rights in SharePoint and read rights across the suite, including Teams Admin Center. So to assign these roles, all Megan has to do after adding Adele and Nestor as users is navigate to the roles. You can get to roles by clicking roles in left navigation or by selecting the user's name and clicking Manage Roles from this information panel. I personally prefer the information panel as it feels more efficient for this specific scenario. So she selects Teams Service Admin and Global Reader for Nestor from the list of available roles and clicks Save. Then she makes Adele a SharePoint admin with suite-wide Global Reader privileges, saves the changes, and voila. Now Adele and Nestor are able to have appropriate permissions automatically. Going back to the SharePoint Admin Center for a sec, notice that the site list experience, left navigation, and now the new homepage is becoming more and more coherent with Microsoft 365. As we continue our coherence journey, we're looking to merge more of these experiences, not just in SharePoint Admin Center, but across the entire suite. With that, I'll let RK and Trent guide you through some of the tools that Adele will have access to in the SharePoint Admin Center, and how she can use these tools to monitor her company's intranet health and collaboration needs of her users.
Thanks, Dave. As Dave mentioned, we've been working hard trying to make SharePoint administration a lot easier and more intuitive. So let me talk about some of the features we've built to make your jobs a lot easier. Let me start with this page. The Active Sites page is a list of all SharePoint sites in your organization, along with details such as the amount of storage used and the primary admin, etc. You can also click on any site and open the Site Info panel and see more details about that specific site and edit some of these properties as well, such as the site name and even the site URL. As an example, while creating the assisted learning site, Adele made a small typo. She wants to correct the site URL. As you can see, there is a small typo there. All she has to do is click on the edit button, enter the new correct URL, in this case, assisted learning. And the UI is going to check if that site name is available. And if it is, I can hit save and directly update the site name. The UI also prompts me to ask, do I want to change the site name as well? In this case, I only made a typo in the URL, so that's all right. Looks pretty easy, right? The magic is what happens behind the scenes. Now, you would have shared links on email or chat or elsewhere. And if this site URL was simply changed, then these links would no longer work. We're now going through all the links that were previously generated to ensure that all of them work seamlessly even after the rename. As you can see, the rename is completed and we have the new URL. Now, there are other tabs that give you different information about the site as well, such as the Permissions tab, where you can see the site admins, members, visitors, and owners as well. You can also quickly edit the site admins by adding or removing admins from this panel. Apart from this, the Activity tab gives you a quick glance into the activity on the site. And the Policies tab shows you the policies that are applied to this site. Now, we primarily have two different policies that you can apply. Last year, we demoed the sensitivity labels and we demoed the power of sensitivity labels. Here, you can apply any of the defined sensitivity labels in your tenant to this site and allow you to protect your data. For instance, you could have a label called confidential financial or general and apply that label to any of the sites from this UI. Now, when you apply a label to a site, the external sharing setting you defined for that label will automatically propagate to this site. Now, in case you don't want to apply a label to a site, you can still control the external sharing policies for this site. Here, you have a range from the most permissive to the most restrictive. And this is an extension of the tenant-wide settings that we have. Let me quickly show you how you can set the tenant-wide settings for external sharing. Go to the left nav menu, under policies, open the sharing page, and you can see we have the UI where you can set the sharing level settings for both SharePoint and OneDrive. Now you can set the level of sharing at both a tenant level, that is from this page, and at an individual site level from the earlier panel that I showed you. So now when a user tries to share a file from a particular site, the sharing dialog will check both the tenant level setting and the site level setting and align the experience so that the more restrictive of the two is honored. Pretty neat, right? Now let me quickly go back to the active sites page. Now we've taken this a step further and made it super easy for you to directly modify such properties of a site, such as the sharing settings. All you have to do is select the site that you want to modify and choose any of the options from the command bar. For example, you can delete, you can share, or associate with Hub. Now, with the increasing number of sites to manage, it can get difficult to change all these properties of multiple sites one at a time. You can now perform bulk actions on a site. All you have to do is select the sites that you're interested in, click on the bulk edit, and from here you can change the sharing setting for all the sites, delete all of them, or associate all of these sites to a Hub site. SharePoint Hub sites help you meet the needs of your organization by connecting and organizing sites based on project, department, division, region, etc. For instance, let's talk about the product team for a drone. We have the engineering team, the sales and marketing team, the research team, etc. And they are spread across different office locations around the world. Each of these teams have their own team sites to collaborate, and you can see the sites here. For instance, if I scroll down this list, you can see that I've got all of these sites around drones. Drone India, drone US, between customer service, engineering, research, so on and so forth. Now, by creating a hub site and associating all of these sites with a hub site, we can link these sites and apply a common theme and branding across the sites. Now, in this case, I've already set the drone worldwide site as the hub site and associated the US and India sites to it. Now, if I open the hub site, you can see that it has a dark theme. If I go back to the admin center and open, let's say, the US engineering site, you will see it also has the same dark theme. Now, with hub sites, navigation and discovering content becomes super easy. At the top of any hub site and any hub associated sites is the hub navigation bar. The hub site owner can customize this navigation bar and choose to use the mega menu layout. Users can use this navigation bar to navigate across other associated sites. And in fact, any news that you post to an associated site will roll up to the hub site and be accessible to the team across the board. Users can also perform searches across hub sites and associated sites by using the search box on top. This means that a sales executive based out of India can search and find marketing collateral hosted across other sites globally. Now, coming back to the admin center, let's say that we got a new set of teams for engineering in China and in Brazil, and we've created their team sites, Drone China and Drone Brazil. Now, if I open the China engineering team, you can see it is an out-of-the-box team site. There is no theme, there is no hub navigation bar here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to associate all of these sites to a hub site in bulk. So I'm going to select the new sites, in this case, the China and the Brazil teams, click on bulk edit, go to hub association, and select the hub that I want to associate it with. In this case, it is drone worldwide. Now, while that's going on, what's happening is each of these sites, after they get associated, I'm going to see the new nav bar and I'm going to see the new theme. Now, if I go back to the old tab where I had opened the China engineering team, and if I refresh this page, you'll see that now the theme has flown through and the new navigation bar has also flown through. Pretty neat, right? Now, I've shown you how you can manage multiple sites simultaneously. I want to now talk about another way you can make your job a lot easier. Views are a powerful and easy to use way of getting to the sites that you want to see and manage, especially when you have hundreds and thousands of sites to manage. Over here on the top right, you have the views drop down from where you can select different views. Think of a view as a sorted and filtered customization on this list. Now we've built in views such as the largest sites and the least active sites and so on. You can also filter this list based on the columns. For instance, I can filter by hub site if I want to choose only the ones, in this case, let's say drone worldwide. And I can also sort. Let's say I want to sort by the storage use. I can either choose smaller to larger, larger to smaller. You can also choose the columns that you're interested in, either by clicking on one of the column headers, clicking customize columns, or clicking the same button on the extreme right as well. And here I can choose the columns that I'm interested in. Once you've customized the view based on your requirements, you can save this view for future reference. For instance, let me save this view as the drone sites. And now I have this custom view that I can reuse later on. Now you've got a list of out-of-the-box views and a list of your custom views as well. You can share any of these views with other admins by simply opening the view, copying the URL, and sending that URL to other admins. You can also set the view that you use most frequently, let it be it an out-of-the-box view or a custom view, as your default view. This way, every time any admin clicks on the left nav active sites page, this page is going to load and that default view is going to load up automatically. Now, let's say Deborah is the corporate communications manager for the company. She's asked Adele to give her a list of all externally shared sites in the org so that she can create her monthly report of leadership. Now, in the past, Adele would click the export button, export all the sites to an Excel file, massage the data in Excel, and show only those that are externally shared. This is because the export function would create a file with the entire list of sites in your org. Now we're happy to announce that we've enhanced the export function to respect any customization that on the list that you've done, which includes sorting, filtering, and your choice of columns. Adele can now simply filter the list by external sharing. Let's say filter by external sharing to on, and quickly export this list to an Excel file and share this with Deborah. As you can see, this Excel file respects the customizations I have in terms of columns and in terms of sorting and filtering. Taking it a step further, Adele can now create a custom view. In this case, let me just save this as, let's say, Deborah's view. And now, every time, whenever Deborah has to ask, all Adele has to do is click on this view, hit export, and send that file across to Deborah. Now, I'd like to shift gears a bit and talk about how SharePoint has evolved. SharePoint is now the destination for products like Teams. SharePoint admins are no longer the only ones creating sites. End users and other admins can also create sites both directly and indirectly. We know that as admins, you're curious on what the source creator of a specific site is, who created it, and from where. And this has been a key ask on us. We're happy to announce that you can now see exactly who created the site and from where. We've added a new column to show the source from where a site was created. You can now add this column to any of your views and see exactly where a site was created from. Now let me quickly create a custom view where I get my created details and I don't want to see any of these columns. Now sites could be created from the SharePoint Admin Center, from Teams, Exchange, during migration, etc. You can also filter this column to see the sites created, all the sites created from any of the given sources. Now, this information can become a proxy for you to understand why a site was created as well. For instance, if a site was created on Teams It's pretty clear that the site was created indirectly to store files that were shared on the Microsoft Teams team. Speaking of Teams, we've heard a lot of questions from admins that you want to know what sites in your tenant are connected to Teams. We've added a new column called Teams that allows you to see this information. With this new column, you can now see if any site is connected to Microsoft Teams or not. Now you can see both the Teams connected status and the created source right from the site info panel as well. And down here, you get to see the complete creation details. Now, site creation source and Teams connected status becomes a powerful tool for you. For instance, you can see all the sites in your organization that aren't connected to Teams. If I filter by Teams and hit no, and promote the usage of Teams to boost the productivity of your users. And if you are the site owner, you can go ahead and teamify the site directly. For instance, Adele is also an owner of Alexa's team, which currently is not Teams connected. She can quickly go to the site and click on the Add Microsoft Teams button in the bottom left corner to instantly create a team in Microsoft Teams. Let me just hit continue, and I'm going to add the team. Now, when I open Microsoft Teams, I can see there are a bunch of teams that I'm already a part of. And now that I've just done the new team, I can see Alexa's team has just been created. Earlier, I've spoke to you about the different views we have out of the box. We've also created a new view called Sites Connected to Teams to make it super easy for you to see all the sites that are connected to Microsoft Teams. Now, I want to talk to you about the landing page or your root site. Your root site is the default landing page for your SharePoint. We recommend that the root site be a modern communication site to give your users the best experience possible. Now, in Contoso, the root site is currently a classic site. In this case, it is called, let me switch back to all sites. It is the classic root. Now, when I open this site, you can see it is a classic site. It's there. Now, Deborah and her team has been hard at work building the new modern site, Contoso brand. Now, she has asked Adele to set this site as the new root site. For those of you who've looked to modernize a root site in the past, you know that it involves heavy-duty PowerShell knowledge and is not always successful. It was a cumbersome process prone to errors. Now, we're delighted to announce that Adele can now swap the root site safely and easily from the UI itself. All she has to do is select the current root site, in this case, classic root. Click on the replace site button, put in the new site URL. In this case, it is sites Contoso brand. The system is going to do a check and it says everything is good. And I can go ahead and hit save. This is now taking the old landing site, in this case, Contoso root, archiving it into another site and renaming the new site as the landing page. Now, after this root site has been swapped, I'll show you what the new experience is going to look like. My root site has been replaced. Now, if I go back to the other site that I had earlier and hit refresh, I can see that the new and improved modern root site has loaded, and that has become my new root site. Well, that's about it from my demos. Let me hand it over to Trent, who's going to talk you through the new homepage insights platform that we've built. Over to you, Trent.
Thanks, RK. One of the most common pieces of feedback that we receive in the Admin Center is around insights and reporting. Specifically, that our current homepage has a lot of room to improve and is often bypassed in favor of the active sites page. Now, this gap will only become more apparent as more sites start to appear from Microsoft Teams. We are hoping to get ahead of this issue by creating a set of insights and reporting tools that will make you more productive even as the number of SharePoint-backed collaboration spaces continues to grow.
If you have used the SharePoint Admin Center's homepage before, you should recognize what you're currently seeing. We've heard your feedback loud and clear that while this experience is useful, overall, it is insufficient. We've started investing heavily into a brand new homepage for insights and reporting tools. Later this year, you will start seeing a familiar card-based dashboard much like what you have today on the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. With this new dashboard, we hope to save you time by allowing you to check in on the most important areas of administration with a quick glance. We're hoping that this new homepage becomes your command center, giving you the most important updates and alerting you when your attention is required. Whenever you need to investigate a certain issue or care to look closely at a specific site, the dashboard gives you quick actions and directs you to places with more detailed information. We believe that using this new dashboard will make you a more efficient admin. With that, let's walk through how to use the dashboard and see some of the key features you will get from day one. As you can see, the customizable dashboard consists of cards. Each of these cards has a very similar anatomy. Most give you a high-level metric of an important topic right in the bold header at the top of the card. Then, the card displays a visual representation of this topic and allows you to deep dive into more information when you decide to take action. Every card has a clickable title at the top, and many cards give you additional action buttons at the bottom as well. When you want to add other cards, you can easily add them by going to the top of the page, clicking on Add Card here in the top right corner, and dragging a card that you want to add to the home page to where you want it to land. Beyond adding new cards, I can also use drag and drop to rearrange my cards. If I don't want to see a certain card for now and want to send it back to the Add Card panel, I can simply click on Remove. These customizations are saved per person, so you can best tailor the homepage to your liking. Let's walk through the cards from the perspective of Adele to learn when each card will be useful to her. In this first scenario, Adele has just received a help ticket. This help ticket is asking Adele to add Sonia as an admin of the employee benefits site. To accomplish this, Adele can leverage the brand new search card here called Site Search front and center on the home page. She can enter either the site's URL or site name into the search box. In this case, she will enter employee benefits. Whoops, there you go. When she hits go, she will be taken to the active sites page, filtered to just those sites that are matching the search term. Then, as Arcade demoed before, she can easily click on the site, go to permissions, manage admins, and easily add Sonia as an admin. And that easily, the help ticket is complete. By using the site search card, Adele can save time in the common scenario of completing a help ticket. In addition to unblocking employees via help tickets, Adele is responsible for making sure her company is aware of any problems or changes in the SharePoint service. For this, Adele can use the Service Health and Message Center cards to stay on top of the latest updates about the SharePoint service. The Service Health card will provide Adele with the latest info about any active problems with SharePoint or OneDrive. When she sees the green check mark, she knows that there aren't any ongoing problems that she needs to be aware of. If there were, this card will give her a quick overview of the type of problem occurring and allow her to learn more with a single click. The Message Center card lists out the most recent updates coming to SharePoint or OneDrive. Adele can even open up the messages directly on the homepage, or can click the Show All button to be taken to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center with the full list of updates across all workloads. With these two cards, Adele can feel confident that she is on top of issues and changes that might affect her or her users. Adele is also responsible for monitoring the adoption and usage of SharePoint and OneDrive across Contoso. For this, she can leverage 3 cards on the dashboard, each looking at a slightly different metric about usage. She will use the Office 365 Active Users card, the SharePoint Site Usage card, and the SharePoint File Activity card. In the first, Adele can get an overview of the total active users of SharePoint and OneDrive across her company. In this case, it's clear that Contoso is slowly but surely getting adoption of OneDrive and SharePoint across the company. The SharePoint Sites card gives her a count of total sites, as well as how many of them are active. When she wants to learn more about the inactive sites, she can click on the Manage Inactive Sites button. From here, she will get a list of all the sites that haven't had any activity in the past 30 days, and she can follow up as she desires. With the SharePoint File Activity card, Adele can get an overview of the actions being taken on SharePoint files, as well as the total number of files stored on SharePoint sites. When she clicks on this action button, she will be taken again to the Active Sites page, this time sorted from most to fewest files. Lastly, across all three cards, clicking the title will take her to the M365 Admin Center, where she can get more detailed information about each of these reports. Another area of SharePoint that Adele needs to monitor is her company's current use of the SharePoint storage quota. Her job is to make sure that everyone at Contoso can freely collaborate across sites without having to worry about running out of storage space. For this task, Adele will use the SharePoint Storage Usage card. This card monitors the storage for her, showing her the historical trend of storage consumption at Contoso, and will even signal to her if the card predicts that the storage might run out soon. When she wants to take more action, she can easily get a list of sites that take up the most storage by clicking on the largest sites button here. Then she can follow up with the site owners if she sees fit. In addition, the SharePoint storage card will give her a Buy Storage button if it predicts that they might run out of storage soon. Just as Adele previously used the SharePoint Site Usage Report and File Activity card, Adele now also has the same visibility into OneDrive usage. Adele uses the OneDrive Accounts and OneDrive File Activity cards to monitor very similar metrics as she has in SharePoint. With the OneDrive Files report, she sees the daily activities across all the OneDrive files and can see how many total files her company stores on OneDrive. With the OneDrive Accounts card, she can see how many different OneDrive accounts Contoso's employees have and how many are active each day. In fact, this isn't the only OneDrive capability that Adele now has in this Admin Center. As part of our larger effort to consolidate and streamline the administration of Microsoft 365, we've brought the majority of the OneDrive Admin Center features to the SharePoint Admin Center. If you're familiar with the OneDrive Admin Center, you'll know that it hasn't seen any improvements over the past couple years. Well, you can now access these new OneDrive settings at the bottom of the settings page, as indicated by these OneDrive icons. All of these new settings are now compliant with WCAG 2.1 accessibility standards, and they support the global reader role that we covered earlier. We hope that you can now come here to manage your OneDrive admin settings instead of the old OneDrive Admin Center. This next card and report are part of a new set of capabilities available via Project Cortex. The card is called Term Store Operations, and it gives Adele a quick understanding of the most common actions happening across Contoso's Term Store. In this case, it's clear that to Adele, the edit and delete have been the two most common Term Store actions over the last 7 days. When Adele wants to get a more in-depth look, she can click on either the header or the button at the bottom to get a full page report about content services. Here she can see all of the actions over the past 2 weeks, as well as get an understanding of the state of her term store with a few key metrics. Again, this is part of a set of functionality available via Project Cortex. Another responsibility that Adele has is ensuring that all of the information stored in SharePoint is appropriately secured. At Contoso, this is done via sensitivity labels. To monitor these labels, Adele uses the brand new Sensitivity Labels Across Sites card here on the homepage. This card gives her a trending breakdown of the adoption of labels at her company. To ensure that all of her sites are secured, Adele wants to see every single site in SharePoint have an appropriate label applied. Unfortunately, as you can see with the unlabeled line, that is not the case. However, Adele can easily follow up by clicking the action button at the bottom of the card. From here, she will jump to the active sites page and get a list of sites with no label applied. She can then follow up with the owners of each site as she sees fit. With this card, Adele can regularly check in on the status of label adoption at Contoso and can very easily follow up to make sure that every single site is getting a label applied appropriately. Earlier, we saw Adele use the Created From column in the Active Sites page to investigate specific sites. Well, now Adele can also do this from the home page. She can use the brand new Site Creation Source Breakdown card to understand the breakdown of all sites over the past 30 days. While this card is still in its prototype phase and will likely change before you get to play with it, I think you'll still be able to understand the value of this card in its current form. Adele can see all of the sites over the past month and understand where they came from, and even investigate specific sources. To investigate one of these sources, she can click on one of the rows, and she will be taken directly to the Active Sites page, filtered by those sites. Whoops. So here she can get all of those Teams connected sites that she has seen made in the past 30 days. This next and final card is a little bit different. It helps you further connect the sites that you usually manage on the Active Sites page and specifically monitor them on the home page dashboard. Earlier, we saw Adele use the Custom Views functionality to create and save views of sites important to her. This was Adele's way of telling the Admin Center which cohorts of sites she cares about tracking, and it made it easier for her to come back to these sites later. With the new dashboard, we've made this functionality more powerful so that you can monitor these important cohorts of sites directly on your homepage. Now, if you are in any saved view, either built-in or custom, you can simply click the Track button here to monitor these sites directly on your homepage. In Adele's case, she wants to closely watch the adoption of Teams connected sites in her company. For this, Adele will use two separate views. She will use the built-in view that shows her all sites with a Microsoft team, and then she will make a custom view to show her the same sites filtered to those made in the past week. She starts by going to the built-in view, and she gets a list of all sites with a Microsoft team. She then clicks the Track button to add this view as a card on her homepage. Next, she will filter by sites made in the past week. She applies the last 7 days filter, and then she will save this new list as a brand new custom view, and she will call it Recent Teams Sites. Then she will add this new view, this custom view, again on her homepage as another card. Now, when Adele returns to the homepage, she will see two new cards. These two cards reflect the sites associated with the views that we saw Adele add with the Track button. The first is the recent team sites, telling her the total number of team sites from the last 7 days and their breakdown by activity. Similarly, in the latter, we can see all the team sites in her company, again with a breakdown by activity. In either one, when she wants to go back to managing those views and investigate those sites, she can click on the Manage These Sites button and be taken back to the Active Sites page to see those views. By using these two cards, Adele can easily monitor her task at hand. In this case, her goal was to track the flow and overall adoption of Teams connected sites. But you can imagine how custom views can be used to track many different scenarios that are important to you. Although this is the last card I have for you today, there is one other important feature that I have to demo. In addition to the customizable dashboard cards, we are adding proactive recommendations to the top of your homepage. Let's take a look. Whenever there's a feature or action that we believe will help you manage your intranet, we will now surface a recommendation about it on the homepage. These recommendations are tailored to each individual and help you learn about improvements that you may not know about. For example, this recommendation you are seeing is about the root site swap feature that RK demoed earlier. From here, you can easily learn about this recommendation and how to swap your root site, and it even gives you a quick direct action link to the interface that RK showed before. This concludes all of the features shipping with the new homepage. Overall, we've seen how Adele can save time and become more efficient by leveraging the power of the homepage dashboard.
Thank you, Trent. So now let's do a quick recap and go over the roadmap for next year. So to recap, we're on the journey to align the SharePoint Admin Center more closely with the rest of the Microsoft 365 suite as it moves to be more interconnected and tuned to accommodate the changing collaboration needs of users. RK and Trent also reviewed all the tools that are now available in the Admin Center to empower you and help make you more productive amid a rapidly changing environment. Now, in 2021, we're planning to build on what we started this year and bring you much more, ranging from improvements in overall performance and reliability of our service to enhancing and building new tools to make you even more efficient in the midst of growing scale. Throughout this journey, your continued feedback has played a vital role. We read all the feedback and it has helped us prioritize and shape the Admin Center so far. We enjoy both the strong feedback on things that we should fix and positive feedback on things that are working well for you. So please keep it coming and thank you. Hope you enjoyed this session. We had a lot of fun making this content along with our work from home office buddies right here. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Say bye-bye, Bailey.
Bye-bye.